Hello everybody and welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Deborah Hatswell and you're listening to BBR Investigations. Today I would like to share with you some personal events that have happened to me over the years. I'm not comfortable sharing my vulnerable side and some of my abilities, but considering I ask people to share their truth with me daily, I'm pretty lax when it comes to doing it myself. I often hear from others who have amazing abilities that they feel silly, or as we say in the UK, daft. We feel we'll be laughed at or ridiculed. I too have something I've never shared that makes me feel really silly. An ordinary grandmother from the northwest of England receiving messages from other beings is one that even I'm still struggling with. I feel like I'm handing over my youngest chick sharing these words, so please hold them gently. When I was a child, I had a game that I played, the mirror game. I could sit in front of the mirror for ages and stare at it until I changed my face. I'd see my face dissolve into another one. And then I'd try and guess who this person was and what their life was like. It didn't hold any fear for me, as I don't remember when this started. I've always been able to do it. When the game finished and I was back to being Debbie Lou, I would write down quickly all I'd learned about the face. Over time, I learnt to tune out by staring into my peripheral vision. And if I relaxed and did this, I could go to places in my mind. And I could see, hear, touch and smell things as if they were real when I was there. I was always getting done for daydreaming, or dozing off in class. I would write stories about worlds that I didn't know, but I'd write them in in-depth detail. And it was another thing that I was ashamed of. It was weird for people. Now, as an adult, I still feel a smudge of that shame. But taking the advice that I give to others, I should really own this ability, nurture it, and use it as it was intended. Sadly, it took until I was 56 to do this. I have told people about my writings, and if I feel a person will understand the messages, I will share them with them privately. But I've never done it publicly before. This week, I was contacted by a long-lost friend, a man who taught me to be me, who taught me lessons I'd never learnt before. He showed me that I was strong and that I had the capability of doing anything. And for my entire life, I'd been told the opposite of that. So, taking a leaf out of his book, it's time for me to share. If I relax or sleep, I can suddenly get a flood of information. I have a system now, I'm so used to it, where I speak the words quickly into my iPhone. But back in the days when my hands were not withered, I would type or write like a speed demon. There's times when I've woke up and I've literally been typing on Mark like he was a typewriter. Or I've jumped out of the bath to write down the words that were flowing. But that was it. I'd write them, but never share them as I felt silly. Today I'm changing that, and I'm changing it for the better. So here goes. The words I share today have come to me since 2007. Not all at once. There are times when I tune out for years and I'll tune back in. Life gets in the way. It just does. That's how it is. Over the last 15 years, I've documented the messages, but I've never shared them. I think some of you will understand what I've written and probably feel the same. And for ones who don't, hopefully over time you will begin to understand. Where this fits in my journey, I'm unsure, but it's time for me to bare my soul. We often hear terrifying accounts of Sasquatch attacking people and their homes. I am often asked if seeing or encountering a cryptid creature guarantees a level of threat or fear. And to be honest, it isn't as cut and dried as that. I believe, like all living beings, any of us can be negative at certain points and positive in others. I think the creature's background experiences with humans and the situations they find themselves in can all be misconstrued as the act of a horrible, violent creature. We humans have a way of putting our acts and emotions onto beings and creatures because we don't understand them. Seeing a bear does not necessarily mean you're going to be attacked. But if you push through that bear's early warning system, you could be putting yourself in a situation where the creature is left no choice but to attack to save themselves or their young. When I started this journey all those years ago, I was living a life full of fear and misinformation. Every site or podcast on the internet told me that I was in great danger, and that simply has not been the case. Some creatures will react with kindness given the opportunity. I also know some beings are beyond our kindness. They have witnessed the horror that man commits. They've seen us with disdain, and I can understand why. I see my fellow man stealing more and more of their resources, ruining the planet we were gifted, and shooting anything that moves within our sight. I have a tale to tell that is my own, a dream I had that changed things for me, a dream I haven't shared publicly until now. Even as a child, I was able to write stories that came to me from nowhere. My dad was exactly the same. I didn't understand automatic writing then, but language and writing were my go-to places when things were hard or got unbearable. The words would just flow. Words I didn't know I could spell, and words I've never heard before. No matter how hard I tried to shut this down, it's never happened. And even today, when I write up the encounters of others, my words are not always my own. In November of 2012, I was completely lost in a world where I thought everything was a monster. I'd lost my bond with nature. I'd closed myself down to communication of any kind. I was finding it hard to deal with seeing something impossible without the confusion and dread. Just going outside the home made me feel awful. But I've always had the feeling that it was me and my reliance on that fear that was holding me back. I was literally fearing the fear. So, as hard as it was, I made myself put my boots on and I made myself go back into the woodland. And it wasn't as bad as I'd made it in my head. In fact, I'd forgotten how nature made me feel grounded and renewed. So I kept pushing myself, even when the dread washed over me. Somehow, each visit to the woods brought another day of feeling good. And I listened when people told me that the forest folk were not all monsters, and for some, they are teachers, guides, and keepers of nature. And the more I heard, the more I opened myself to the possibility that I was wrong. So I asked in my head for help to see the path I should be taking, and the answer came in a dream. Even after the dream, I still have doubts. I still have to trust more, and I know I'm but a toddler yet on this section of life's journey. So, like a toddler, I put my trust in an elder. I asked for help and guidance, and I received it. How I, as an ordinary housewife and mother from the northwest of England, found myself involved in any of this was beyond me. I didn't know about bloodlines then. I didn't know all the things that I know now. I am still pulled between people who have their own agenda. I'm used to prove they are correct or incorrect, and it isn't like that. This is my journey, and this is for me. And if you don't think what I'm sharing is true or honest and you don't believe it, well, that's fine. But this is my journey and I'm sharing it. Like most of you, I'm still learning, even all these decades on. So I feel like today I need to share the automatic writing that I received and I have received through most of my life. I never know when the words will come and I have no control over it, even now. My guide moved on in 2018. I haven't been in contact with him since then, but I know where he's gone and I know why. But the lessons he taught me brought me strength and the ability to show others what I'd learned. The dream was where everything started for me, really. The dream gave me hope, a kind of spark of light, kind of quelled that fear a little bit, and it sent me on a journey of discovery, my future self and my past combined, I suppose. I want to share this with you, and I hope your journey, if not already begun, is as joyful and welcoming as mine has been. In the dream, I'm in a forest. It's rich, dark green, old man's beard and thick, squashy moss, just beautiful, and there's dew glistening everywhere. I'm laying on a log, just enjoying the sun as I feel it warm my face. I can hear the birds singing and the leaves blowing softly as they dance patterns across me in the shadows. I feel warm and content. I get up and I walk towards a clearing where the sun shines brightly and I can glimpse movement between the trees. As I walk out of the wood line, I see people milling about. They're just going about their business as if I'm invisible to them. Some have young with them, some are just lazing around enjoying the sun, while others seem busy with food gathering and chores, but to them, I'm invisible. They're blurry almost. I can't make out the faces, and the colours are all kind of a autumn hue. And then it's then that I realise I'm not alone here. Somebody's sitting to my right, just sitting in the grass looking at me with the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen. The eyes are blue and green mixed together, and the owner is a vision to look upon. Her beauty just shines out of her somehow. She shimmers like a vibration. And even though she has hair everywhere except her face, she's the most beautiful person I've ever seen. She smiles at me and pats the ground beside her, so I'll come and sit down to join. But I can't move my feet. I'm frozen with fear. I'm worried and stressed because I don't want to offend her, but my legs want to run. But my feet are glued to the spot. Panic starts to set in. And then, as I'm about to break down and cry, a feeling of calm washes over me. I needn't worry because somehow I know it's okay. She understands my fear. And she just smiles at me, content. And I hear in my mind, I'm Serena, and you're not ready yet. And she looks towards her friends, and I realise it's fear that's holding me back. She knows this, and she said it's okay. She understands. It was at that moment I awoke, and the feeling was so good, I wanted to recapture it. I tried to dial us off again, but with no luck. I've never been able to go back to that forest. I rolled that dream around in my head for days and days, and the feeling of bliss just stayed with me. And it's still there to this day if I think about it. Every time I write of Namanu or Serena, I get a pleasant feeling, a glow that lasts for days and days. I never know when the next words will come. I can't write at will. Sometimes I dream and I write it as soon as I awake, and other times it can happen anywhere. I feel relaxed and the urge to write is just immense. The words come in a rush and I feel compelled to share them, as if me knowing them is not enough, but I've never really been brave enough to do that before. I have no answers for this. I am but a simple soul with questions like you all. So I'm just going to continue to write if I can and share it with people who listen. The dream allowed me to look at the Sasquatch people in a different way, and I asked for more information. But so much came through at once, it was just too much to handle. So I asked for things to be drip fed to me, slowly, in a way that I'd understand. And the next words I'll read are the ones that I got. And they're not mine, they're his. The face that started all this for me. I didn't know his name then, but I do now. He's called Namanu, and he's watched me my entire life. Some of you call him my stalker, and others call him my guide. Nobody understands this relationship like him or I. And this is his message to you all. He said, in the winter months, we would dwell high up in the caves. We'd group together for warmth and tell stories of the old days in times gone by. My grandfather's a great leader and has a vast knowledge of the humans and their ways, and he warns us away from them and tells us of the great badness that's stored within them. They don't have no teachings of the Great Mother, and they seem to destroy and demolish as they go. But there was a time, long ago, when we dwelled together on this earth and helped each other to thrive and learn. It's warmer at the back of the cave where the wind doesn't find you and the rain is just noise from outside. And that's where I sit when the old ones teach, and I soak in the knowledge with great need, because without the elders knowing it, I've been very close to humans once, and I have a yearning to know more. But first, I shall explain our ways and why we avoid humans at all cost. The cave is high up in the mountains, and the winter snow keeps us safe. And as all nature lies sleeping, I look down into the valley below. In a long ago day, it was green and vast, lots of clean streams and forested land, a land of beauty and a plentiful supply of food for all. Enough for ourselves and the animal creatures and the humans. Green trees of different heights line the banks of rivers, which are filled with all kinds of fish. There are meadows swaying in the breeze with long grasses and natural flowers, a place for all and sacred to us. Nature's part of us, part of the animals, but alas, not the humans. They came with their machines in the hundreds. They took the trees and dirtied the rivers with their logging and mining. They shoot the animals for trophy. Sometimes they even kill each other, all in the name of someone called the mighty dollar. I have no understanding of this, and I have a yearning to know more. Why do they treat the land this way? Why do they maim and hurt each other and the earth so? Don't they realise if you work with nature, the whole world is blessed? To destroy nature is to harm yourself and any living creature that walks the earth too. So I watch from high up, away from the smells and noxious gases, away from the anger and the violence, away from destruction of all living things, and I ponder what it would be like if the humans could understand our ways and what the earth needs. Many summers ago, when I was too young to go with the males, but old enough to leave my mother and the sister ants to explore and learn and grow, I betrayed my elders' advice. The day was warm and I was hungry, and I knew of a forbidden spot that was filled with food, but a place that humans went in the daytime. I'd have to wait till dark, but I could smell those small onions in my mind. I could feel the sharp, sweet taste of them on my tongue. So I wandered off down the forbidden tunnel that leads to Old Parkland, with thoughts of eating in the sunlight filling my mind. Was I brave enough? As I approached, I could hear laughing and giggling coming from one of the hidden areas. Ah, more of my kind with the same idea as me, I thought. So I popped my head out to join and saw to my disbelief 2 human girls, who instantly became frightened, as if I was some kind of monster sent to hurt them. I opened my mouth to speak and explain, all to no avail. They screamed and ran, and I could hear them a long time after I couldn't see them anymore. I was hit with a feeling I'd never experienced before, a feeling of loss and confusion. If they're the monsters, why did they run from me? Had the old ones taught me wrong? I doubted this greatly. Are all humans encouraged to act this way with new things? And then I realised the awful truth. To them, I was the monster, the unknown being, and in their eyes, something to be feared. I went home without tasting that food, lost in thought and feeling wronged somehow. I had nobody to talk to. I could not reveal my mischief for fear of punishment. I knew the rules. They were there for good reasons, to protect us from them and their kind. How could I find answers without breaking the rules again? And I came up with a plan. In the years that followed, I watched one of the girls as she grew and changed. I watched from afar so I didn't scare her again. And in doing this, I realised some of the humans had kind hearts. Some of them wanted to learn our knowledge and our ways, the old ways they'd forgotten a long time ago. I looked into her and I saw when she used to visit the wood. She would clean up the human filth. She'd help the animals and creatures, and I saw her blossom each time she did that, but I'd scared her from there. I longed to talk to her, to explain how I could teach her, but I didn't. I stayed and watched her learn this herself. And as she met elders when she was old and had a kind heart, the longing for the old ways came back, and they in turn visited the woods and learnt many things. But that was many decades to come. Then I got the courage to talk to some of my brothers and sisters at the gatherings, and they too had seen the change in some humans. This makes my heart sing as I watch her now, old and grey, teaching her young ones the right way, and all the other humans who are learning to understand and spread the word. I wonder if one day all of us will share this earth and nature as one. So I sit and wait and grow old. But I can feel the uprise coming, feel it growing, stronger every day. I watch the machines leave and the animals grow in numbers. The stream becomes clear again. And I wonder if my small mistake had been a blessing in disguise. So I plucked up the courage to speak to my mother about the girl that always smells of lemons. And this is what she told me. My mother chose my father Arak to be her male, as he was kind, and he shared her cave one lonely winter. I've not seen him since, and it'll be many years before he comes to teach me the way of the males. I hear tales from other youngers of rogue males that want to harm or hurt people. I've never met them, luckily, and in my clan, all are thoughtful, all are one. For us, nature is the mother, and we sway with her rhythms, as does the earth. I've heard talk of humans and their destructive ways, but as of yet, I've not seen them other than the girls. I'm curious though, what animal could live within this land and choose to destroy it? This makes no sense to me, as hurting a plant or tree is hurting yourself. Taking in excess is forbidden, and we know to take only what's needed. The trees were gifted by the Great Mother. The water flows cool and fresh, and the fish, birds, and animals rejoice in this. There's a pattern to life. Each thought you make, each action you take, has an effect on all of us as a whole. We think as one, we feel as one, we hurt as one. Can the humans not see this? Can they not feel this? Then my mother explains once, many times ago, the humans were connected as we were, attuned with nature. Everything they needed, the great forest provided. They too could feel this rhythm, and they worked with it. But over time, some of the humans changed. They chose control over nature. They chose things over feelings, and a great greed began to grow. A need for things replaced the need to feel. Their hearts darkened, and their thoughts and feelings changed in a way not suited to harmony and grace. They forgot how to exchange with each other, and the mighty dollar came. At first, I thought this was a god or an ancient, but alas, no. And the humans began to worship this dollar. With blind eyes, they take and take. Can they not see the destruction, the hurt? Not only did they do this to themselves, they encouraged others to join, to leave the old ways behind and become modern. They say you're free thinking. I only see what wrong this is doing. As a younger, I couldn't understand this. When grown, I realised this had to stop. There must be a way. Are all humans is closed off and shut down? Do none of them see the harm they're doing to themselves? We watched many humans fall along the way, their tribes lost to memory, their values forgotten, and their skills no longer used. It was many years later, when my father came for me, that I realised that by changing the thoughts of one, many would follow, and this gave me hope. One time at a summer place, we stopped and rested, hidden in the shrubs and unseen by many. We heard a singing voice, so sweet, so curious, so kind. We crept closer to watch, and the singing filled our hearts and made us glow from within. Surely this was a soul of joy and happiness, for the tune was sweet. Some of the youngers got so close they could see the human. Not me, I was too afraid, feared by the stories I'd heard. I hid behind my mother, Serena, and stayed hidden. The human just sat in the glade singing and bringing joy to us all. She didn't destroy, she didn't hurt or kill. She left nothing behind but a happy memory as she set off home. We rejoiced in this. I never did see her, but I feel her happiness now, and the song I can hear when the memory returns. This just made me want to know more. A small feeling was starting to grow, like a tiny ember that then smoulders and bursts into flame. If one human could be as we are, then maybe there were others. As time moved forward, summers passed and winters waned. We moved with the food and the seasons. Sometimes alone with mother, other times we regrouped together at one of the clan gatherings. We shared stories and news. We began to hear more stories of humans respecting the earth, wrapping their arms around nature in a caring way. Way up in the mountains, down in the valleys, and even in the towns and cities, people were starting to yearn for the old ways. They sold off their belongings and came out to join others like-minded souls. They could be seen caring for Mother Earth, helping the animals and birds, helping the earth to heal. But still we held back. Fear can be binding. It can keep you in one place and shut down your heart with blackness. And a collective fear is a very powerful thing. Many of the elders warned us. and we listened, but we secretly yearned to know more. But your path is set. I knew this, and I stopped fighting. I need to understand what has happened and why, and with time my answers will come. So for now, I eat and sleep and enjoy life in the moment, with no care or worries, a happy life, fulfilled and fruitful. It was a few short years before I saw my humans filled with fear and hating. I expected a monstrous looking hairless creature with black hair and soulless eyes. That was not what I saw. She was small, tiny in fact, with green eyes filled with confusion, a small mouth screaming in fear, and the thinnest legs I've ever seen. I worried about her as she left screaming. I saw the depths of her fear, even with our combined confusion. I could tell her heart was warm and inviting, nothing like I'd been told, and my mind went back to the singing human from many summers gone. My curiosity piqued, and I heard the way she went, and I followed. It was many days before she came out of her home again. She looked different this time, beaten down somehow, filled with confusing thoughts, and I tried to help, but she was shut down in her heart, too scared to feel. I watched over and over as she tried to find answers. I knew there were humans that could help, she just hadn't found them yet. She looked for answers in books and papers, anywhere an answer might lay hidden. But without her knowing, the answer was inside her all along. And as she grew, the fear also grew. I watched her reach out to people, and they shunned her. I watched her avoiding the world lost and alone. But for her, the future would bring great knowledge and understanding. Some paths are hard to walk, but in doing so, they lead to paradise never known before. For all she was tiny, she had the fight of a lion in her. I saw males try to harm her, and she overcame every time. I saw her fellow humans ridicule and hurt her, and she'd bounce back like one of the ancients. I smile in my heart as I think back on this. Smile because I know together we can make a change. A small change that will grow like the trees, from a tiny seedling to a mighty oak. Or like a raindrop that becomes an ocean. So with her, I wait, always watching, always feeling, see if our hearts beat in tune. Wheels turn where the change is, and so must we. So I carry on my day-to-day living, growing fitter, becoming an older myself, travelling with my father to learn the ways of the males as others of my kind do. Each one finding their human, waiting to help and empower. Some come quickly to the knowledge, while others wander blindly, because for a human to understand, they have to push down all of the lies, all that has been taught to them. They have to carry a knowledge that no adult has, and this is harder than anything the world has presented them so far. But some find a way. They put the human thing aside, and they embrace their newfound knowledge. They rewild, become one with the earth, and are accepted by us, and we can show ourselves to them. The whole world is ours to enjoy, and every now and then the humans join us, and we become one in our hearts together, one goal in mind, the healing of this planet and a return to the old ways. In other parts of the world, people see us, from Scotland to Canada, Russia, Europe, Bhutan, the mighty Himalayas. We grow in numbers as the humans take more. We spread love and blessings wherever we can. We leave signs for the humans. Some understand them. Some walk right past them without even looking. And we know it's the curious ones that need our time. The blind ones will continue to stumble. But we await them with loving arms nonetheless. For all are welcome. All can be absolved. The Earth Mother can be forgiving, and she teaches us to do the same. There are steps we can take to bring them closer to each other, and fate, as you call it, will do the rest. One caring human can become two, and two becomes a whole team, and with differing skills and insights, an understanding starts to be formed. Knowledge is shared, and more flock to join. They too can feel a quickening of the spirit, and need to go further, form relationships, learn from us and each other. And we too begin to learn from them. Like us humans come in all shapes and sizes, as do we, all with their own values and needs. Some more connected than others, some more closed off. For as we travel this world, some continue to hunt us. The prize of a body is needed. when just an opening of the mind can bring you all the answers you need. But some humans can't trust, they can't believe without seeing, and they are the ones we avoid. They come with cameras and guns, in teams with traps to hunt us. They try to trick us with claps and whoops, wood knocking and announcing their presence from a long way off. But we retreat, we stay hidden. We keep our youngest safe and wait for them to leave. Some humans come with open hearts. They share food with us. They sing to us and talk out loud, explaining all with their calm presence, caring ways, and we become less and less afraid of them. We start to open up. Let me tell you about my little lemon girl. She can feel me in her dreams, both in the day and the night. She feels a connection, like a hand reaching out, but she's too afraid to take it, too afraid to believe and let go long enough for me to empower her. It'll come, with time, for all of you reach an understanding at different times. Your journeys are your own, and it's right that it is this way. Some people hide forever, scared to open up and try. Some of them have been feeling misplaced their whole lives, like an outsider looking in, knowing surely there's more to life than this. The black sheep, the strange kid, the weird one. Yet when they daydream, they feel warm and comforted. You can feel this too. Relax and think about things you liked as a kid. Stare into space and just put your love out there, and you'll find something, and it'll return tenfold. Imagine a field of people sitting, all standing up at once and walking towards a gate. The whole crowd could not go through that gate together. They must each wait their turn and walk through one at a time. You accept there's a gate, you just have to trust and walk over to it. It matters not who enters first or last, only that we realise when our time has come and we arise and we walk through. What awaits is a life unlike any other, a life to cherish and behold. So as you sit in your daily life and await your turn, put love out there. Feel love brought to you. Forgive, forget, and move beyond. We can each change one small thing a day in our behaviour, one tiny change in our attitude towards others. And if one more person a day joins in, over time, a small acorn that your actions planted become a huge and mighty oak. You humans have a saying, never judge a book by its cover. Judgment, hate, intent are all human emotions, and this isn't how we think, and there is a reason for all acts, and none are done lightly. What you see as aggression on our part, maybe because you look for us with guns. We don't share our secrets freely, for some humans have many faces. We can't invite you in to sit, for fear you may destroy our culture, as we've seen other humans do. Some of you think of us as monsters to be scared of or hurt, when in fact, all we want is to live a peaceful life, and your hunters come and shoot at us. If we laugh and sing, you call this ghosts and spirits and warn others to avoid our area. We have to hide and stay hidden. Even that gives some fear for a reason. If we walk out to greet you, hands held wide, you run and scream. So we hide our faces from you. We don't hide from you because we fear our behaviour. We would love to walk freely on this earth and share and sit together as one, as it always was. It's always we've ever wanted. We've always been here beside you, and once we sat as kin. But over centuries, you became the aggressive ones, and we took our young and hid. We walked the earth together, all kinds of beings ancient and new alike, before the metal tool that kills and wounds with fire came. You see our acts and only take the bad. The work we do with nature, our healing, our spiritual guidance, you feel you no longer need. A maiden walking in the woods who falls and hurts her body can be healed by us and return to you, and that would give you a reason to come and shoot us. We've never harmed somebody. If we remove someone from an area because we know danger is coming, we might throw a tiny pebble or a pine cone to wake you up or get you to leave. If our children play hide and seek with you, it becomes a serious spy or a peeper. You put these things on us, you make the rules and change them at will, and you spread these lies over and over. Humans have done many bad things to every creature on the earth, yet you blame those creatures for it. You were given food, it wasn't good enough, so you poisoned nature to make things easier for yourself. You were given bodies and furs and cloth, but you want camo and tools and knives and whips for protection, you said. Protection from whom? We would love for a time to roll back when we were one under the sun. We ate, played, slept, and loved in the same way. We respected each other and took only what was needed. The earth was a paradise once, and we shared it gladly with all. We've left you a lot of signs. We visit your dreams. We heal your sickness and help your earth, and still we're monsters, the ones to fear. We're a patient race with a patient nature. But we ask how long before you notice, how long before the changes start, because they have to start with you. Many of you have started, and the message is spreading. But in between, the hurt still happens. Clans are forced on and broken up, left to look for ever decreasing areas. We don't have to be here. We can choose other worlds, other homes. We're here to try and help you, to try and help the mother. But it rests in your hands. Find your guide, connect, listen, and beyond all things, this is all we ask. Visit your Earth Mother and listen to her voice. So now you know the words that I've heard for 45 years. The last piece I will share with you tonight was a message I received many years ago that I feel it's time to share. Gift? Who knows? But it's a message for someone. It came to me when I was at a point in my life where the woods were my daily nightmare. This script enabled me to go back to a time when nature was everything to me. Back to a time where I could share my knowledge with my daughters and my granddaughters. And I hope these words inspire you too. The Lady of the Leaves. She walks the forest floors, nature within her breast. Clasped tightly in her arms is a sleeping child at rest. She is the grandmother of all things living. She shares all willingly, always giving. All she asks in return is a gentle ear. She's worried, and she needs to share her fear. She says, I'm growing older day by day. My time will come to pass away. You teach the children nouns and verbs, and I will teach them plants and herbs, and animals of every hue, nature's child wet with dew. Running to my cottage door. Come on, Nan, let's explore. I am the Lady of the Leaves. Generations back in time, like the flower celandine, that means to travel like a swallow. She covers every field and hollow, weaving her magic as she runs, to teach her daughters and her sons the teaching of the ancient ones. Nature's cloak of joy she dons. A gift she is about to give, a chance for all to live. Upon the earth, an earth that's healed, flowers filling every field. She is the Lady of the Leaves. She's alive in all of us, the birds with song, the bees that buzz. Where water runs and streams trickle on, she brings the moon, she brings the sun. She brings our seasons one by one. For time brings change, things are made, things undone. She is our Lady of the Leaves. Many names we call her by. Mother Earth, hear her cry. She's hurting, the pain is deep, so wounded that she cannot sleep. To rest is what she wants and needs, so to you she pleads. Help to cure me, help me heal. Nature turns like a spinning wheel, weaving patterns lightning fast. The future counts, not what is past, says Our Lady of the Leaves. The messages I share tonight are just a small selection from a lifetime of them. If you want to hear more of them, just let me know, and I will share more of them with you all. And if you'd rather not, you'll just have to watch something else that night. I just want to add, for everyone that's been in touch with me and been worried about me closing BBR, there was a period a few months ago when I was so ill that I couldn't get up out of bed. I was constantly vomiting. I couldn't keep food down. And I'd lost over 9 stone in weight, lost all of my muscles. I couldn't actually stand on my legs. Fortunately, that has changed now. I've had a diagnosis. I'm on the correct meds and I'm getting better and better all of the time. I've had to tweak things, and I have a good core group around me who've took on the admin and investigations that we're doing. We've had an investigator out in Wanstead this week, and we have an investigation in 2 weeks' time in Cannock, and we have 2 investigations coming up in Yorkshire. The investigators are taking care of all of that. I'm just speaking to the witness and then passing the cases over. So we've got a good system going. So I will definitely be here for a while. I will be back at the same time next week. If you want to hear any of the podcasts early, why don't you check out my Patreon site, because they're on there, and many of them are public. You don't have to pay to see them. I know Patreon has a strange connotation for some folk. A lot of the things I put out publicly, I don't mind. So I'll see you all next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Good night, everyone.